And welcome to another edition of Coffee with Graeme here on Amateur Sports TV. I'm your host, Graeme Forsyth. For those that were watching just about a few minutes ago now, I don't know exactly what the time was. You did see us face some technical difficulties. There was problems with the mics. We think we got it figured out now. But before we get into bringing in our guest, which is Regan Boulton, assistant coach of the Balmoral Hall Blazers, just want to thank everyone who is going to tune into today's show for tuning in, because we're going live for about, I don't know how many times we've gone live now. I'm going to guess this is our fifth time going live. I'm not too sure. Can't remember off the top of my head, but this is a live show. No commercial breaks today. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Amateur Sports TV. Be sure to follow those as well, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well at Amateur Sports TV to stay up to date with all our coverage of when our episodes come out of all our different shows here on the network. But without further ado, we're going to welcome in assistant coach of the Balmoral Hall Blazers, Regan Boulton, now, and her team coming off a big win this weekend on Saturday. ASTV was there to cover the action in Pilot Mound. Her team taking down the Pilot Mound Buffaloes in a decisive 8-0 win. And Regan, I'm assuming you can hear me now.
Yes, I can. It's a little choppy, but it's better than last time. I can hear you a little bit better.
Okay, so that's good. First off, before we get into anything, thank you for coming on the show today. I know that you're probably very busy. I know I'm very busy right now with school and getting all these shows done on time, but how are you doing on this Tuesday morning? I know I'm in Winnipeg. I'm not quite sure where you are, but yeah.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. It's my pleasure to be here, and I'm excited to chat hockey. I'm busy, but there's always time to chat hockey, so.
Yeah, and are you in Winnipeg, Manitoba right now, or are you in another part of Manitoba?
No, we're based out in Winnipeg.
Nice. So, you're an assistant coach for Balmoral this season. I'm assuming you've been with the team for quite a while now. How long has it been exactly since you've been an assistant coach on the coaching staff for Balmoral?
So I am now going into my third year full-time coaching with the team. I started at the school as a admissions officer, and I helped out with the hockey program a little bit here and there with practices and went on one travel weekend. But this is my third year full-time.
Nice. And how have you enjoyed it being an assistant coach for a program like this where the schedule is always busy? I know it's a bit different this year with COVID, but this team playing in the JWHL, I know there's a lot of travel. I was talking to Sarah Zacharias on Friday before the game to get to know this team a bit, and she said that there'd be times where you guys travel from St. Louis to Boston. So how's it been, the transition from this year as opposed to other years where it's a bit different with COVID and all the regulations this season?
Yeah, obviously it's a little bit different. I mean, as the assistant coach, I'm really lucky to be able to do what I do, especially with this program. It's near and dear to my heart as I'm an alumni of the program. I graduated from the school in 2009. I played for the Blazers for 2 years. So, to go full circle and come back and give back my knowledge and everything I learned from the game back to the girls is something I'll forever be grateful for, to have this opportunity. So with that, it's awesome. As you said, we're so used to traveling all around North America, flying everywhere. We take one bus trip a year. And so, it's a little weird not being in the airports at 3:30 a.m. every other Thursday with the girls. But we're trying to make the most of it. Obviously, the safety and of us and the girls in our schools is the most important. So as much as we'd love to be out there traveling, playing JWHL games, obviously that's not in the cards this year, but we're trying to make the most of it and, get a good experience for our girls, especially for the grade 12s.
And is this your first time being a coach of any team in your coaching career?
No, I started coaching first when I was playing overseas in Europe. I was helping out more as a skills coach with a couple of the younger teams through our program that I was playing for. And then when I moved home from Europe, I first started coaching with the Yellowhead Chiefs in the AAA U18 League. So that's where I first started coaching before I'd moved to Winnipeg.
Nice. And yeah, we actually get to cover the MFHL this season. So we got Derek Tibbetts on last week's show, and it's fun covering that league because the women's game, it's growing here, especially in Manitoba, but I know all across Canada, especially. How nice has it been from your perspective to see the game grow? And obviously, I'm assuming that this program in Balmoral has grown too throughout the years.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give a shout out to Derek. Derek's awesome. He was obviously a big help in my first year of coaching, along with him and Bill Brown. So we had a great time together. We won the league, so it was awesome. Great experience in my first year of coaching. But yeah, the women's game obviously has grown immensely since I was even playing. So I try and think back of the opportunities that I had, and they were very slim in the female hockey game. And in order to play high level elite hockey, you had to move away from home. So I had to move to Brandon to come to Winnipeg to attend Balmoral Hall. I had the option of going to Wilcox and play at Notre Dame. Ultimately chose I wanted to play at BH and be a little bit closer to home. And so yeah, like those were the opportunities that were available back then, was to move away from home. There was no, elite AAA league. There was nothing like that. So to see where the game is now, there's so many opportunities for girls finally, because the boys always had them. And so, yeah, now to see, where the game has gone, the amount of girls that are actually playing now, we could still see a lot more female coaches in the game, and I think we'll get there eventually. But I think that's somewhere that we need to fix. But other than that, I mean, the opportunities are endless for girls and women in hockey.
Now, for the JWHL this season, obviously with COVID, you don't get to play because the league it consists of Canadian and American teams. So with COVID regulations, obviously the American teams can't come over the Canadian border, and then the Canadian teams and your team as well can't go over the US border to play them. So you guys aren't able to play teams in this league like you normally would this season, but you guys are playing exhibition. You're playing prep teams like St. Mary's Academy. You just finished playing the Pilot Mound Buffaloes this past weekend. You've played a university team in the University of Manitoba Bisons. But what have you, because this is uncharted territory for your team this season, you guys usually don't play these prep teams, and you guys have never played Pilot Mound before this past weekend. But how have you found the competition has been between these teams that you guys have played in this slide of exhibition games so far?
Yeah, it's good. Like you said, we rarely get to play teams from Manitoba, so it's nice for the girls to play the competition that is in Manitoba, and they know a lot of these girls, so it is nice in that sense. Obviously, we miss playing in the JW and that competition, but our games against SMA are always fast. They're aggressive. They're really good hockey games to watch. So whenever we play SMA, you're always in for a good one when the two teams battle. And playing the Manitoba Bisons, obviously, you're getting one of the best university teams in Canada, coached by John Rempel. They're an awesome team. They're fast. They're aggressive. They're a really good team, and they're extremely hard to play. So, for our girls to get that exposure to play a team at the university level, which is ultimately their goals, they all want to go play at the university level. So for them to actually play it and play against that caliber and that speed is a really eye-opening experience for them to see that, okay, like this is what it takes to play at the next level, and this is what it takes to play at the next level every single day in practice, in games, twice on a weekend. So having that competition in the city is awesome. And again, our games against SMA are always extremely well-fought games by both teams. So we're looking forward to those two matchups this upcoming weekend.
Yeah. And in terms of getting exposure on your program this year, it's different. Everything's different with COVID, but I had a chance to talk to Sarah on Friday before the game on Saturday that you guys played, and she was saying that you guys have done some things to kind of accommodate for scouts that aren't able to be in the arena. So what have you guys done to kind of make it easier for scouts to get a look at your players in this program?
Yeah, so we set up a YouTube channel that we put all of our games onto there. So we started with our inter-squad games, and then as soon as Hockey Manitoba allowed phase 3 of games being played, we obviously got our games up there versus SMA and the Bisons. And then obviously, our game against Pilot Mound was on ASTV, so we sent that along to scouts as well, so they could have a look at that game. But yeah, we're just as much as we can, trying to send that video to them and to give updates too. So Sarah and myself are on emails and phone calls every day with scouts, just saying, hey, did you watch our game versus SMA? Like, have a look. If you have any questions. So we're really trying to keep that connection open, because we're so used to seeing them when we go travel to places, when we're at Stony Creek and we're at Challenge Cup in Washington and we're at all these different places. There's scouts everywhere. So you have that ability to keep that contact going on those weekends, which is awesome. So we don't want to lose that. And that's why we're doing our best to keep up on emails and phone calls and everything like that. And it's definitely helping. So.
And I had a chance to look at your schedule as well. 3 to 4 practices per week this season. You got something called Focus Fitness, which is 2 times a week, Limitless, Cycle, Team Yoga, and then a thing called the Ice Lab as well. Could you explain what exactly the Ice Lab is? Is that more for your goaltenders, or is it for the whole team in general?
No, Ice Lab is just for the goaltenders. So on every Wednesday and every other Thursday, they're in with our goalie coach, Andy and Stu, and they work just with the 2 goalies on things that they need to work on. So sometimes, we'll notice in a game if a goalie is, not confident picking up the puck behind the net and setting it or making a pass. So we'll go talk to them and just say, hey, they need to work on this. And then they make their plan based on that. And there's the odd time, that they make their own plan from what they've seen throughout their weeks of practices. But we're super lucky to have Andy and Stu with our goalies and helping them, because, I'm not a goalie, and it's a totally different world being a goalie. So I don't even attempt to tell them what to do, because that's just not fair to them. So yeah, having that on our schedule twice a week is awesome for the goalies.
Yeah, and would you say that the schedule replicates the workload you guys would have in a normal year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we practice pretty much every day. Monday is always off for the girls, because we're typically coming off a travel weekend. So we get home late Sunday night, even Monday morning. So they have Monday full off of hockey. Obviously, they're in school. And then Tuesdays are always 2 days, so they have practice and workout. Wednesday, we have Wednesday morning with the girls, where we do video from the weekend. If there's things that we need to fix, that we'll fix in practice, we'll show them in video. We'll do team builders. We'll do video where the girls are working by themselves, clipping their own videos, like a highlight video for scouts. Thursdays is always 2 days. We have practice and then workout. And then Fridays, usually we have Limitless Cycle. And Limitless Cycle is a cycle studio that's owned by Megan Glennie, former Megan Defoe, who is a graduate of Balmoral Hall School. So it's her cycle studio. We like to, support her business and get our girls in a good workout. So the schedule is pretty much the same, obviously, just that we're not traveling. So if we traveled, we never practice on Thursday, because we're always at the airport and traveling, playing 5 games in a weekend. So yeah, it's a pretty busy schedule, but we're we got games lined up on the weekends. If we're ever not playing on weekends, or we are playing on a Saturday, we'll add in a Sunday skill session where we split the team in half, and just solely skill development, which is awesome. It's usually me, Sarah, and Janelle Kohanchuk on the ice with 8 players, 7 players in a group. So it's very very skill focused.
Nice. And Regan Boulton joining me on today's edition of Coffee with Graeme. We're about 14 minutes and just over 30 seconds in today's episode. And as you guys do know, we don't do commercial breaks during a live show, but usually we do commercial breaks. So we're going to roll through it now. We were talking to Sarah in this first little part of the interview about what the program's like in Balmoral Hall, what the schedule's like, her history and coaching to this point, her time with Balmoral Hall. Now we're going to get into this year's roster, and we're going to also get into that 8-0 win that her team had on Saturday against Pilot Mound. So this season, it seems like you guys have experience up front is a big thing. You guys don't have as much experience on the back end, but you guys do have some valuable experience with Cockrell and Xander back there. I know Cockrell is one of 4 captains on the team. She's one of 2 players that wears an assistant. 2 of your players wear C's. I know that Sarah was saying that 2 players are able to wear C's because in America you're able to do that, and you guys play in a league with American teams. You got 1 returning goaltender, but would you say there's a certain area that your team has a certain strength in this season, or is it just many strengths within your team this season?
I think we have many strengths. I mean, you touched on it. I think our offensive ability this year with the returning players that we have and the players that we brought in, our offensive abilities are awesome. And we saw it on Saturday there against Pilot Mound. I think that's our greatest strength for sure. But I think as a whole, one of the greatest things that makes a team successful is how they are off the ice and the camaraderie among the girls. And I can say that, in my not super long coaching career, but even a part of teams and, being a part of that atmosphere, it's very rare to find a team that gels like these girls do this early on, and it's awesome. And it shows on the ice. Absolutely. I think that, they want to play for each other. They want to play for the coaches. They genuinely respect and care about everyone and this program. So, that helps and that translates obviously into the ice and them working together as a team. But if we're talking about like just pure skill and things like that, our offensive abilities are unreal. Like sometimes I watch these goals and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. And there was a lot of highlight goals this weekend. I mean, Zaharia, wow, what a set of hands she has. Cranbill had a heck of a deke on Heaven Monet is the goaltender for Pilot Mound. But yeah, just looking up front, Zaharia, Esposito, Cranbill, Yakel coming back, Gortson as well, Sikarova. You just guys got so many returning players up front, and you guys got that veteran leadership. And talking to Sarah on Friday, she said that the team's culture starts from the vets. Do you think that so far in these wins this season, it's been the leadership of the vets that have really pulled this team through?
Absolutely. These are 4 vets, we call them Ash, Espo, Ches, and Nene. Ash and Espo have been with our program for 4 years, and Ches and Nene have been with our program for 3 years. So, they've seen how Sarah and I coach over these years and what we really value in our program. And that's character, and that's hard work, and that's, respecting others, and just this culture that we're trying to build as a family. And they've bought in since day one, every single one of them. And so, that festers down through the team. Absolutely. They look up to those girls that have been there. They've walked the walk, they've been through the hard times of, being in grade 9 and being in grade 10, the little kids on the team, not little kids, but, the young ones that, that aren't as fast, aren't as strong as the grade 11s and 12s. So, they put in the work. They've walked the walk, and absolutely our success this season so far comes from the vets and the respect that they get from the girls and from us as coaches too. They absolutely deserve the letters that they have on their jerseys, and I couldn't be any more proud of them for what they've done in this short amount of time.
And you guys came into this game against Pilot Mound coming off a loss against the University of Manitoba Bison's team. You guys were up 1-0 going into that third, but then Sarah told me that the college league seemed to take over in that game, and you guys weren't able to finish that off. But you guys come into this game this past Saturday against the Buffaloes, and you guys put down the hammer, as I should say, with an 8-0 victory. So what was the biggest focus coming into this game against the Buffaloes?
Yeah. So, our biggest focus when we were talking to our girls was just every opportunity that we have, we want pucks on net. And that was, I think it showed on the shot clock and on the scoreboard. So our biggest thing was, just every opportunity we get, doesn't matter if it's dead angle, shot from the point, you're walking the wall, whatever it is. We want to be puck focused on the net as much as we can, and then hound that net. And also another one was puck possession. So focusing, on making the smart plays, not throwing away the puck when we have the chance, taking looks and reading what's available. So I think with those two things, I think the girls really bought in that game. I think, you look at puck possession and you look at shots on net and goals and that, I think, the girls did really well in those two areas.
Yeah, and Sarah Zacharias talked about that so much to me on Friday, the day before the game, and she said puck possession was probably one of the biggest strengths of this team this season. And she said that as a program, it's always focusing on puck possession, and it was on full display on Saturday as well as shots on net. I mean, you outshot them 39-10. So if you look at the shots, you guys got that great number of shots, and you guys also limited them to shots as well. So that comes from the puck possession. But we were going to show some B-roll of some goals from the game. I tried converting the video from YouTube and tried to cut highlights, but there was errors with me trying to get it. So unfortunately, we won't have any B-roll. But just moving into the game summary against the Buffaloes, 8-0 win for your team, the Blazers, this past weekend, and it was your vets that put up the most. And Zaharia with a hat trick and 2 assists, Cockrell with 4 assists, and it seemed like every time these two would find each other, it was instant chemistry on the ice. So could you speak about the chemistry that certain players like Zaharia and Cockrell have on this team this season?
Yeah, absolutely. They came off of that shift where they scored 2 goals in a matter of, I don't know, it was like 30 seconds or something. And then they came off, and then Zach and I looked at each other and we're like, oh, we shouldn't have taken you guys off. You could have got another one. But, that comes from they've been playing for 2 years on the power play together, on the top lines together. They've both been, really top players for us. So, they've been playing together for a while, and that chemistry has grown so much over these last couple of years. It doesn't happen overnight that you get that. And that good too. So yeah, it's just been years of them working together on the power play in certain game situations, on certain plays. And obviously they're both in grade 12, they're both much smarter, much faster. They're just seeing the game at a much quicker pace now that, they are stronger and they are faster, and it's showing. They're both just lighting it up. That both the first goal by Ash, the backhand down was just yeah.
And then Zaharia also finding Cranbill on that second goal. What a pass by her, and then Cranbill made no mistake, a little backhand forehand backhand forehand goal, or the other way around. But just the ability that your team showed within this game. I mean, it was shots on net, it was these skill goals like Deacon the goaltender, it was shots from the point. Just, you think, along with the offensive ability, getting pucks on net and the puck possession, some of the strongest things, it's the ability that your team has shown throughout these. I know this game against Pilot Mound, but I'm assuming the game against St. Mary's as well, the ability to score in many different facets in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's all, one of the biggest pillars of our hockey program is the focus that we put on skill development. We need to focus on the fundamental skills of hockey and make them masters at that, and then keep getting better, because that's what coaches want to see at the next level. They don't care about our power play or our PK forecheck or anything like that and how they can run that. They care about, the small individual skills that it takes to be on a power play, like pulling the puck off the wall, finding the player down low, getting open, or taking the quick shot. All these like little skills are things that we try and really work on with the girls, and it's showing in these games as we put a huge emphasis on it. That one with Ches, from Ash to Ches there, it was I've seen that before in practice. A lot of times, before practice, we get on the ice 10 to 15 minutes early, and it's just free time for the girls to work on whatever they want. And it's so exciting as a coach to watch, just, sit back and watch and see what the girls are working on. And there's a lot of girls that you can tell that are working on their weaknesses, but you can also tell that there's girls that they're working on their mastery. So, Ches, Ash, every practice are working on shootouts. and dukes and things like that. And it's, you look in that game and it's like habit. It's just second nature for them to make those moves because they do it every single practice.
Yeah. And I like players like Esposito, Zaharia, Cranbill, just all your vets. I mean, the players that really wanted on this team. It's about every one of them. I mean, you could see it in Saturday's game. They all wanted to play. They all wanted that puck, every single player. But the little things you talked about, like working on stuff in the shootout, working on the little things in practice, that goes a long way to building those good habits, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And just talking about the vets that put up, I mean, Zaharia put up, Cockrell put up, Cranbill as well, and Esposito performed. But taking a look at your rookies, and two rookies in particular, starting with Avery Pickering. I mean, she had a blast of a shot from the point. I believe it went bar down or hit the back bar or something. I can't quite remember, but just a blast from the point. And it wasn't just her ability to shoot that puck that was on display. It was her ability to carry the player 200-foot play. Her two-way game goes into the 200-foot play, but just her being so young at this age, I'm sure that you guys are excited to see what her career brings with Balmoral.
Absolutely. Yeah. She's in grade 10. So thinking about having her for 3 years is so exciting. I've never seen a player like her ever. She is absolutely phenomenal in every part of the game, in skill, in hockey sense, in everything. Like, she is the full package player. She's she's also very, very studious. So she actually was age advanced. She's supposed to be in grade 9, but she's in grade 10. So, she is what, she's the epitome of a student athlete. And yeah, her work ethic and workouts, I just watch this kid and I'm just like blown away every time I watch her do stuff. The skills that she works on before practices and things that she does in games and in practices, I see at a collegiate level. And it blows my mind, how skilled she is. And the best part about it is that she is the most humble kid I've ever met. Which is awesome. It's hard to find kids that they're that good, but she is such a humble kid. Yeah, she is the full package. I can sit here all day and talk about great things about picks, but
yeah. And it seemed like, I mean, we talked about it in the game during the broadcast that she was an age advanced player, and she was probably besides your vets, the biggest standout from that victory was just her play. It seemed like she carried the play, and it looked like she was a veteran herself out there. That's how confident she looked with the puck and how confident she was in her abilities.
Exactly. And like that's the biggest thing when you play at the next level, and is having that confidence and knowing that you are good, obviously in a humble manner. But yeah, the confidence of her on the ice and her controlling the play, and she's like bringing players to her, making escape moves, and then firing that pass off rather than just receiving that puck and throwing it away quick. She wants the puck on her stick. She wants to make the plays, and she does it all the time and with confidence. And you even see in the game against the Bisons, like she really held her own as a 14-year-old against the Bisons, which is awesome to see.
Yeah. And another standout rookie, Lego, scoring 1 goal and 1 assist. What have you liked throughout these past 3 games from Lego and her? I'm assuming this is her first year with the program. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Brooke Legault's first year with the program. So absolutely love her speed and her tenacity. So if I think back to our game against SMA, one of our players dumped in the puck and Brooke was almost a full zone behind a defenseman and, made the play, beat her to the puck, and then got a shot on an empty net, which one of their players ended up saving. But, I watched the video a couple times and the gap that she closed in such a short time when she was so far behind was amazing. And that, her speed and her tenacity on pucks is awesome. And, another area of her game that she's really skilled at is she's a very accurate shooter. I watch him practice, and I think she's one of the one that scores the most goals in practice, and it's constantly in the same spot. I think she must have practiced it her whole life, shooting at the same spot because she picks corners like crazy. But other than that, yeah, she's an awesome kid. Yeah, she's a first year on her player, but she's also in grade 12. So
Yeah.
she brings a lot of experience with her,
Yeah.
which is awesome that we get to spend 1 year with her.
Yeah, and before we get into your goaltender app, we're going to talk about Ocean Asham. She was a forward for you guys last year, and she was a forward coming into this year. But I heard that there's an injury with one of your defensemen and Moffat, and you chose Asham to go back and play on D. And Sarah was talking about it to me, and she said that the reason she picked Ocean to go back on that on the back end was because she's, like you said about Brooke, was she's so tenacious on pucks, and she's a very aggressive player. So are those some of the things that you've seen throughout her game that have made her so successful on the back end so far in her first I guess it was her first game as a defenseman this weekend?
It was her first full game as a defenseman. A couple of times last year we had some injuries where we had to throw her on the back end, and every single time I was just like, wow, like this kid's actually really good at defense. And so, I was really excited to have her because I coached the defense during games. And so I was really excited to have her on the back end with me. And, it is those things that make her a great forward and a D. But for me, it's her ability to read plays and to step up and to be confident in, if there's a 50-50 puck but she's the D coming back and she sees a player, but she's so confident in stepping up in herself and reading those plays, which is awesome. And, D isn't all about skating as forward is. D is a lot about, the hockey IQ and reading the plays ahead of time and scanning the ice and knowing when to make moves. And that's what I love most about having Ocean on the blue line is that ability. And she's also a very offensive forward. So to bring her back onto D, her shots from the point, her ability to play
Yeah.
along the blue line and make plays happen and to jump in if she needs is awesome. So that's why I really love her as a D. And I think, her dad's an ex-NHL player. And so I think she's gotten a lot of her skills from him. Maybe not the fighting skills, but
Yeah.
just having that pedigree, it goes a long way. And she's definitely put in the work. She wants to learn every practice. She's asked me questions about what happens in the D zone and all these different scenarios. So, she wants to learn, she wants to get better. And for us as coaches to have someone who is so skilled on forward, but also, so skilled and reliable on D is like the perfect world.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the things that I noticed was she's a great two-way player, and as you said, her ability to get those pucks on net it creates chances for the team. It only benefits the team, and if she's able to, continue to develop her two-way game, especially her defensive game even more, she's going to become an even more dangerous two-way player out there for sure. Moving on to your goaltender, Anya Epp, she didn't face many shots in this game, but when she had to, she was sharp in this game. I mean, she made everything look pretty, simple out there with her shots that she faced. It looked like she was just like with so much confidence out there with Anya App. Was that one of the things? I know that it was her first year with the program last season, but is that one of the things that you've noticed in her game that have taken the next level? Is her confidence this season?
Absolutely. Coming into our program and playing in the JWHL where a lot of the girls are older, like most of the teams have mainly grade 12s and then the odd grade 11, maybe one grade 10, depending on how exceptional they are. But, playing in that league, the girls are a lot older. So to come in as a grade 9 or grade 10 in itself is extremely daunting and overwhelming. And, it usually takes them about half the season and up until December or even later till they really feel like they got their feet under them. But goalie is like a whole different position. So as a grade 10 goalie to jump into our league is tough. And, Epster made some serious gains over the summer. You can tell she put in the work. We call her Pipes now, not Epster. But, she worked on her game all summer, and, she got some new equipment, and I think that might have been holding her back. It was like a little bit heavy, but now she's got new equipment, and, she's another year older. She's in grade 11 now. She's not one of the young ones anymore. That just brings in itself more confidence too. But absolutely, I watch her in practice, and I watched the game again versus SMA, and she made some massive saves for us to keep the game, 4-1 win for us. But absolutely, if there's one thing that I can pinpoint, it's her confidence coming into this year, which is awesome.
Yeah. And before we get into what you guys are going to expect going into that Halloween matchup against SMA coming up here on Saturday, I didn't ask about the things that I know we talked about. Pickering and Lego is a senior rookie this season, but what have you liked from this rookie group as a whole throughout the first 3 games of this season?
Yeah, they're awesome. They're a great group of kids. They're gelling so much, with the way schools are and COVID cohorts and things like that. Our team usually sits and mingles all together from grade 12 to grade 9. They're all hanging out on the couches, but obviously you can't do that this year with the cohorts. So our grade 10 cohort plus we add Mo in there, who's in grade 9. That class has just gelled right off the hop. They already see themselves as sisters, and it's awesome. And so you translate that onto the ice, and they're working hard. They're learning. They want to get better. They're constantly asking questions. They're asking questions from us. They're asking questions from the older girls. And the vets are doing a really good job at making sure the girls understand our systems, understand, what Zach and I are talking about in certain situations. But, I'm so happy with every single one of them. They all play a vital role on our team, and I'm so excited to watch. It's my favorite part of coaching is to, bring a kid in grade 9 and 10 and just watch them grow into, amazing, confident, independent young women by the time they're in grade 12. So I'm really excited to see where this class can go because, the newbies that we brought in, we can call them rookies, the newbies, there's a lot of talent and a lot of potential in these kids, and I'm so excited to see where it goes.
And you guys are going into this next matchup with, you're going to have a bunch of practices under your belt. You're going to have some other things too on the schedule before this Saturday matchup against SMA. You guys had success against them in that first game that you played of the season, an exhibition play, a 4-1 win over them. I'm sure that they're going to be hungry to come out and beat you guys and try to prove something. But is there anything in particular you guys are focusing on going into that matchup, or is it going to be your normal schedule as usual?
I think it'll be our normal schedule as usual, but there'll obviously be some things we'll touch on with the girls. As SMA is a very skilled team, and they do have a very good goalie. So once again, another main focus this week at practice is going to be shots on net, because that's one thing that we noticed in our game against Pilot Mound is, we had so many chances to hit the net, but we also missed the net a lot. So I think this week, because SMA does have a very strong goalie, we're going to have to make that a focus this week of pucks on net, hounding the net as soon as we take them, not skating away, and making sure we're hitting the net and shooting to score. So, that'll be a big focus for us. Also, we took a lot of penalties against them when we played them. So I think, trying to stay out of the box, as we don't, we love our PK and we're great at PK, but I'd rather play 5-on-5 and 5-on-4 for us if we can. But another big thing, and obviously, I think a huge strength of our team is our speed. So I think a big focus for us will be using our speed to our advantage in all 3 zones. Breaking that puck out, gaining that speed through the neutral zone, and then entering the zone with as much speed as possible and making some plays off those. So I think those are some key points that we'll focus on for upcoming games against SMA, and we know that they're not going to come out and want it to be another 4-1 win. So they're this whole week and probably last week, focusing on these two upcoming games they have against us. So, and as are we. So I'm really looking forward to what these games bring.
Well, it's going to be an exciting game for you guys going in against SMA. I know, like you said, they're going to want to come out and prove something, beat you guys. And of course, you guys are going to focus on the good habits going into that game. That game goes 2:45 on Saturday at the Bell MTS Iceplex. So be sure to check, the Bell MTS Iceplex site or wherever the guidelines are for how many fans in attendance can come into this game. But if you guys are able to go check out some great hockey, go check out a great matchup between Balmoral Hall versus SMA this Saturday at 2:45 p.m. at the Bell MTS Iceplex. Regan, thank you so much for joining me on today's edition of Coffee with Graeme. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to talk to you in the near future.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. That was fun, and I hope you have a great day as well, and I'm sure I'll see you around the rink soon.
Yeah, for sure. Take care, Regan.
You too.
And Regan Boulton joining me on today's edition of Coffee with Graeme here on Tuesday morning. It's about 11:22 a.m. on Tuesday. Don't know the date exactly. I believe it is October 27th. Give me a break. It's been a busy weekend for us here at the Amateur Sports TV Network. It's been a lot of traveling to Pilot Mound. It's about a 2-hour drive from here to Winnipeg. So around there, I'm not sure exactly what the exact time is from here to Pilot Mound. But yeah, it was fun getting to test my play-by-play skills for the first time in my career, really. I know it was rough. I know that there were some parents on Pilot Mound that didn't appreciate me screwing up some names, but the stuff happens. I'd like to think I did a pretty good job, but I'm not sure. You guys be the judge of that. But before we end off today's show, just gotta bend over here. Excuse my reach. We're going to have a list here of all our great shows here on the network, some of our great shows here on the network, but these are the ones that you guys should check out other than Coffee with Graeme, which does air every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 10:30 a.m. We got On the Ice with Theo Tukuluk, which airs Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. For pro sports coverage, we got Crunch Time with the Boys on Amateur Sports TV weekdays at 9 p.m. Between the Pipes with Mahith Gamaj for all you amateur sports soccer fans out there, airs on Wednesdays. We also got the Sask Sports Show with JD Hodden on the network. It covers everything in the Saskatchewan sports area, so be sure to check that out on the Amateur Sports TV network. We got the Primetime Alberta Sports Show too. We're saying that's a show to watch for, and it's finally here. Their first episode dropped last week, so be sure to check it out. They got, the host of that show's got another one coming out this week, so stay tuned for that. And then also watch for the new Prospect Show, the Rookie Show, World Softball TV, International Hockey Academy Show, and also another show that is on the network and you guys should check out is the Coaches Parlay, which airs on Saturdays at 7 p.m. So many great options for you guys to pick and choose from here on the network to watch at Amateur Sports TV. You can check it out on Facebook, YouTube, or wherever else you watch our coverage at Amateur Sports TV. And also, as I did, or maybe I didn't say it before, but maybe I said it in the other broadcast, but I'm not too sure. But be sure to check out our Instagram and Twitter at Amateur Sports TV as well to stay tuned for when our shows are coming out on the network. So that's all at Amateur Sports TV. And until next time, this has been Graeme Forsyth, host of Coffee with Graeme, signing off. Stay safe out there, but also have some fun out there too. I'll be here this Thursday at 10:30 a.m. to continue our coverage of the MFHL here on Amateur Sports TV. But until next time, I'll see you later. Graeme Forsyth, signing